Not who you used to be, so you can't do what you used to do. Welcome or welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, Ty Gardens, and yes, that is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Now, with that being said, because there's no right or wrong way to heal yourself, always and only take what resonates as well as leave the rest. So if it doesn't apply, it's not for you. Don't force it. Let it fly. But most importantly, grab your pens, grab your paper, and be prepared to take notes. In this video, we're going to go over and discuss how to embrace your new identity, how to welcome the best version of yourself, as well as any recommendations, reminders, and disclaimers and what you should be aware of. For the month of November, we're going to focus, and in this video specifically, focusing on our new ways. So when we decided at the beginning of this year or even this month or just in general that we wanted to heal and become the best version of ourselves, in that moment, we consciously and psychologically came into an agreement with our future self. You see, what you think is not a coincidence. And when you want to better yourself, there is a reason, there is a purpose. So the moment you decide that you want to become better, you're going to start to become better. Now, of course, physically, does it show up the same day? Does it materialize in the same day? It depends on what it is that you're asking for. It depends on what you're praying for. It depends on what you're working for. But subconsciously and psychologically and emotionally, the moment you decide to not be in low vibrational environments or to think less of yourself or to just do things that are toxic or dysfunctional, the moment you decided to raise your vibration was the moment you started to change with your mind. And that's where it starts. It starts with your mind. What you think is what you'll end up experiencing and what you want for yourself. So you have to realize that as you're welcoming your new identity, you have to allow your mind to catch up with your actions. And I'm speaking from experience. The moment you said that you physically wanted to become healthier as a person is the moment you decided now, when it comes to your actions, when it comes to patterns, when it comes to habits, anything that is not considered to be healthy to you and what you want, you can no longer do. And the only reason why it seems so difficult for people to embrace their new identity and make it part of their reality is because you're used to living a certain type of way. You're used to thinking a certain type of way. You're used to being a certain type of way. Our mindsets, our get it out, girl. Our ideologies, our behaviors are all connected. It's an energy. So you have to realize that as you are welcoming the best version of yourself, you need to allow yourself to be present. And it seems difficult because, once again, you're fighting who you want to be and who you used to be. The second thing you need to be aware of is that as you're giving yourself grace, you have to then be mindful of what is required of you. So like if you mentally or verbally acknowledge that you want to be healthy or you no longer want to be toxic or you no longer want to be surrounded by dysfunction, you then start to ask yourself, what can I do in this present moment with what I have, work towards these goals or to separate myself from those things. It requires action. Just because we say we want to heal, just because we say we want to lose weight, just because we say we want to start a business, just because we say we want to be healthy, just because we say we want to do certain things, it doesn't mean that it's impossible or you're not capable of doing it. But if you don't know what to do to actually make that a reality, it's just going to be in your mind. It's just going to be keeping you limited. And this is why a lot of people doubt themselves and are insecure and become envious and feel stuck and stagnant because they don't know what to do. Now, of course, as you're figuring out what you want, you need to be intentional. And that's the third thing. I've created a 30-day consistency playlist challenge. Watch that as well as, like I said, all the other videos so you're caught up, because moving forward, we're just going to continue to move forward. But it's like you have to be intentional with your new identity. Like, you can't say certain things if you're not intentional. So it's like, once again, the example and the analogy that I gave is being healthy. If you know that you physically weren't healthy in the past or a couple of months ago or the beginning of this year, but you want to be healthy, you have to, like I said, then accept that if I want to be healthy, there are certain things that I can no longer continue to do. There are certain things that I need to start doing. And you have to use your time that you have and the resources that you have to work towards those things. You can't complain about certain things if you're not sure about what you want and if you're not committed. And that's the fourth thing. You have to take it seriously in order for you to manifest it, in order for it to materialize, in order for it to be a part of your reality and a lifestyle. Like I said, it's one thing to say, oh, I'm going to be healthy. But I'm not cutting off certain foods, or I'm not taking certain nutrients, or I'm not taking certain vitamins, or I'm not taking certain supplements, or I'm not exercising, or I'm not going to yoga, or I'm not going to Pilates, or I don't invest into a personal trainer, or I'm not going to a doctor. You can't say you want to do certain things if you're not willing to be patient. Like, you may not have all the resources and the tools to change your life in a day, but if you have the mindset to believe it, as you unlearn what you used to know, you will start to get the resources and the tools because you're in alignment of what it is that you want. So the fifth disclaimer and what you should be aware of is that you can't rush this new identity. You have to welcome it because it's unfamiliar. The unfamiliar only seems scary to people because, once again, you're used to a way of living, you're used to a way of thinking, and it's like when you've been programmed or to be raised a certain type of way for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and you decide to do something completely different, it may seem scary in the beginning, but it's like as you are welcoming your identity and you're learning to be confident and you're watching these videos, you take what resonates, you leave the rest, you're doing your own personal work, you have to become 100% sure of yourself. Like, you can't be 50-50 embracing this new identity. So what are the recommendations? The first thing, speaking from experience, that I've learned when it comes to me embracing a new identity of myself was to grieve my past. And grieving is not a one size fit all. It could take weeks, it could take days, it could take months, it could take years. Like, you don't have to take advice from people that you don't want to be like, or people who don't get to know you. So it's like, as you're walking into this new identity, certain people and places and things that you were once familiar with, you may not be compatible with them anymore. You may outgrow them, and that's okay. Learn what you needed to learn from your past in them. And when you're ready to make the commitment, when you're ready to welcome this new identity, like I said, it will become a lot easier. But it's like, you can't rush the process. So it's like, when you're in your season of isolation, when you are being separated, when you're starting to make certain changes about yourself and your surroundings, appreciate that time, because when you're in that time, it's for a reason, and you need to be aware. Like, you need to become educated, you need to be prepared. So it's like, as you're being confident, as you're embracing the unknown, as you're letting go of what no longer serves you, you can get into the habit and the flow and the momentum to receive the things that you want. The second recommendation is that because you're not who you used to be and you don't think the way you do, you are going to outgrow certain people, places, and things. And you have to be okay with that, and they have to be okay with that. If people have a problem with you changing and becoming the best version of yourself, they never were meant to be a part of your picture in the first place, and it doesn't matter what they think. I don't care about how people who I used to know 20, 30, 40, 50 years, even though I'm only 28, felt towards me. If you don't have my phone number today and you can't call me, I don't know you. I don't know you. You don't know me. Like, you're not who you were in kindergarten. You're not the same person that you were a year ago. You're not who you were even a couple of days ago. If you're constantly evolving and growing, that's what you're doing. And because there's no limitation to abundance, there's no capacity. So it's like, if people can't meet you where you are, they need to move. And as you continue to elevate and make the necessary changes, the right people who are meant to be in your life will show up. Don't worry about people in places and things if they haven't done the work, if they haven't, if they're not equally yoked. Like, you knew them in a certain part of your life. You don't have to, like, be standoffish. You don't have to be rude, but it's like, you guys have nothing in common. There's no compatibility. Like, me personally, I don't spin the block, and nobody gets to spin a block when it comes to me. If people were in your life and they weren't able to appreciate you or be there for you, it is what it is, because at the end of the day, life goes on. Now, of course, if you're meant to be in certain people's life and people are meant to be in yours, then it's like, okay, you will both come to a certain agreement, but it has to be mutual. So it's like, if people want to bring up your past and what you used to do and who you used to be, you let them know you did those things. Keyword is did, past tense. You don't do it anymore now. And it's like, if people are so focused on that, it just lets you know, like, that's where they are. And it's like, once again, if they're not willing to change or accept you for who you are, just block them, ignore them, and never talk to them ever again. So the third thing that I would recommend, or was it the fourth thing? Let me know what number I'm on. I think it's the fourth thing or the third thing. I'll just say number 4. The fourth recommendation when it comes to welcoming your new identity is just having fun, because it's like at this point in your life, once you do all the work and the self-reflection and the grieving, and you go to therapy and you go to God, ancestors, universe, take what resonates, leave the rest. Like, you see a psychiatrist, you get help, you change your habits, you're working on yourself, it's gonna get light. It becomes a lot easier. You're gonna be excited because it's like now you're doing the things that you said you wanted to do. Now you're starting to build the momentum. Now you're gonna get the resources. Now you're at a point where you're gonna start seeing the results. Now you're gonna have, the finances and the resources. I think I said resources already, and tools to do the things that you want to do. Like, enjoy life. That's what I'm learning. Like, as I'm embracing this new identity, as I'm closing the years out in my 20s, I'm just having fun. Like, I tell you guys all the time, it's a time and a place to have fun. It's a time and a place to study. It's a time and a place to go to work. Like, know what you're supposed to be doing in the seasons and the chapters in your life, so you don't have to constantly overextend yourself or constantly stay somewhere where you don't need to be, or just pass the test. Because, like, so many people talk about God's gonna give you multiple tests. No, you're not gonna keep having to take a test if you passed it the first time. The only time you have to retake a test, and I know this from experience, is because you failed. You didn't pass the first time. And it's okay if you don't pass the first time, but it's like eventually you'll pass the test and you will move forward. So it's like, you can't, like I said, rush your life, because there's no age expectancy in life, and what your life looks like, nobody else is done like specifically the same way. So it's just like, enjoy it. Like, as you're, alone or in isolation, or, just doing things differently, have fun. Because it's like, you're not doing what you used to do. And it's like, when you're sitting with yourself and you're changing your mindsets, you're changing your beliefs, you're changing your ways, give yourself grace, and most importantly, be proud of yourself. And that's the fifth thing. Be proud of yourself. Like, you're not where you used to be. You're not who you used to do. You're not who you used to be. You're not where you used to be. So it's just like, if in your past you were insecure, and now in your present reality you're confident, in your future you're having a high vibration, you're feeling yourself, be proud of yourself. If you used to be in dysfunction and now you're learning how to communicate, you're going to therapy, be proud of yourself. If maybe you used to lack confidence and now you're confident, be proud of yourself. If you were poor, you grew up in poverty, and now you're gaining money, you're learning financial literacy, be proud of yourself. If you used to be a people pleaser, be proud of yourself. If you were around certain people, places, and things, and they weren't the best for you, but now you're making genuine relationships and communities, be proud of yourself. Because it's just like, you went through so much. And it's like, another thing, or the sixth thing and the final thing, and I'm gonna end off the video, just be grateful. Because it's like, the people and the places and things that you outgrew is literally just the past. And the sooner you can let go of the people and the places and things who are not meant to be part of your future, the more you will realize you don't have to, like, be bent out of shape. Like, you don't have to feel so sad and depressed. And of course, when you're going through it, and when you're surrounded by so much negativity and dysfunction and draining people, it may seem difficult, because it's just like, you're basing things off of what's around you instead of what's inside of you. And this is why a lot of people tell you to do the inner work before you do the outer work. So just welcome, your new identity. We have a lot to talk about. That's how we're going to start off the month of November. So thank you guys, like always, for watching these videos all the way to the end, giving a big thumbs up like always, and commenting down below, turning on your post notifications so you're subscribed, as well as following me on all my social media platforms, booking your service in your session. Once again, all the information is found in the description box below, and checking me out on TikTok, on Instagram. I'm going live discussing these things. But if you guys have any other questions or concerns, let me know. If not, stay tuned. But it's time to embrace our new identity. When you're watching these videos, you're either on the same page or you need to catch up, okay? But if you're on the same page, life is gonna go on. We're not gonna be sad and depressed in our past forever. Like, you're gonna move on. Things will become lighter, and you'll get to where you need to be as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, okay? That's how we're gonna start off the month. So, yeah, love you, bye.